What is going on, guys? Welcome to Extreme Daily Drivers. Thank you so much for stopping by the garage today. Today we're going to install a backup camera for my Scion XB, and as you guys know, a couple of months ago I went ahead and got this awesome Android Hi Kitty head unit off of Amazon, and it can do so much cool stuff. We've already hooked up a sub, we've already hooked up an amp, but today we're going to go ahead and hook up the backup camera. So before we start tearing the car apart, I want to give a quick shout out to Matt, Ray, and Chris for picking up some XDD merch. If you guys want to help the channel out, go ahead down in the description. There is a link always to our store. Pick yourself up a t-shirt. They're really inexpensive. They really help the channel out, and it's awesome to know that someone's out there repping XDD gear. So thank you guys so much for ordering. Now let me show you the backup camera I got for the box. So if you guys watched my video on the Hi Kitty head unit that I installed, you know that it does come with a backup camera, and here is the backup camera. By all accounts, it's decent. It got good reviews on Amazon for the people that did install it, but we're going to be installing a different one. We are going to install this one, E-Raptor. This thing is cool because it's got like really good reviews on Amazon, and it's like an HD lens. Check that thing out. And what I love about it is how it mounts. It mounts behind the license plate, which should make for a pretty clean install. Whereas if you go with the one that you get for free, you kind of have to get creative as to where you're going to go ahead and mount this. So it really doesn't matter which camera you go with. Basically, installation is going to be the same. You're going to mount your camera. It's going to have some sort of connection. This would be going an RCA video cable all the way to the head unit, and then this is going to be going to power, most likely at the reverse light. And then you're going to have an RCA cable to run. All right, this is going to basically bring the feed from the camera to the head unit. And then again, these are power and negative wires that are going to be grounded somewhere in the car, and then power, again, like I said, to the reverse light. So to give you guys an idea of what I'm dealing with when it comes to directions, these are the two sets of directions. This one came with the head unit, this one came with the actual camera we'll be installing. But look at this one from the head unit. Product manual, right? There is no manual, it's one page. And check out the back page. Yeah, doesn't tell you much. And quite honestly, the one that came with the camera we're installing, it's not much better. I'm trying to open it here with one hand, but yeah, 3 pages of kind of broken English. They obviously are translating this in some way. I love this part here. You can go ahead and keep the instructions, write down our email address so you can find us once you have any question. We will be there for you forever. And then down here it says warm prompt. Hilarious. So if you guys are fans of the channel, you know that I've been kind of putting this installation off for quite some time. I've actually had this backup camera for months, but I haven't installed it, basically because I know it's going to be a lot of work to get it installed, and I've been kind of dreading it a little bit. But some of my subscribers have put some comments in the last couple of videos to let me know that installation is not really that bad, so we're actually going to find out today just how bad it is. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this license plate off so we can get the camera mounted. So before we go ahead and mount the camera, we have to figure out where the wire is going to go, because it's got to make its way into the hatch here. So there is some room underneath these backup lights, underneath this handle here. So next thing we're going to do is take off this panel. So now that we got the panel removed, we're going to have to go ahead and remove this guy. Got the bolts off. You can see here, well, mine's broken. Yeah, that guy there. I'm gonna get rid of him altogether. Just being annoying. We're gonna have to run our wires up through this grommet, so that ought to be fun. All right, guys, so actually didn't have to put a hole in the grommet. I was able to feed this end through the grommet, and looks pretty good. So I'm gonna start putting this back together because we're pretty much done with the license plate area. All right, guys, check this out. Pretty cool result. What do you think of that, huh? Pretty cool install. So that's the reason I went with this camera. I guess I should have probably mentioned that it's 40 bucks. There's a link down in the description if you want to go this route, but really nice and clean install. And when I'm backing up, right, that should be a nice, clear, crisp picture of what I'm backing up into. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Man, does this car need to be clean though. Holy cow. Incredible. Got the negative wire grounded. We made our connection. So now not only does this wire have to make its way through here, down here, and then through that, but this wire has to as well, okay? Because this is going to connect here, and it's going to have to run all the way to the head unit. Now maybe you guys can understand why I've been dreading this so much. So how are we going to do this? Our old friend, right? The coat hanger. You're going to need a good one, man, a nice long one, as long as you can make it, because we got to snake it up here all the way down, and then we have to pull this grommet apart because that's where everything has to come out. I'll be honest with you, man, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I actually did it pretty quick. I think I did it in less than 5 minutes. Alright, so here's the other end. So now we're going to go ahead and tape everything up to that, and then we're going to go ahead and just pull it all the way through. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, that must have been the hard part, man. Good job. All downhill from here. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I think the hardest part is going through this little grommet here, which we got to mess with. Now, it's only like 4 inches, right? So it shouldn't be too big of a deal. But we got to mess with the headliner and this panel here. And the only way this panel is going to come off is if we remove everything from the trunk again. All right. It's the last time I'm doing this. It's the last time I'm taking this apart. Here it is. This is what you gotta do in order to make this work. If there is another way to do this, please comment below and let me know, because this is just a ton of work to run some lines. To remove the upper plastic piece here that goes around the window, it just snaps in. You do have to remove the seatbelt, and super easy to do. You can see here the bottom of it. You just flip this guy up. There's a 14mm bolt that goes in there. Now this backup camera really is designed with a car in mind, not necessarily a hatchback. So the positive wire that they give you is pretty short. I mean, this is kind of as far as it's going to go. It's obviously not going to make its way all the way down there. So I got some red wire laying around here. I'll go ahead and extend that so it'll reach all the way down to the reverse light. All right, check it out. Now I cheated a little bit, but what I did to make this happen, I'm about to kind of put it all back together, so I wanted to show you before I did. I cut this little grommet here, and I didn't cut this part and I didn't cut this part, but I cut this part. So what that allowed me to do is semi-easily fish the ends of the lines down to this part, and then kind of bring it over easily and then down to this part. Now the nice thing about doing it this way is that when I put this all back together here in a minute, these will seal perfectly, and then this will just have a slice in it, which I can go ahead and put some electrical tape around. That made my life a lot easier, trust me, because there's no way that I was gonna get this down here, through there, and then down there without cutting or modifying something. So made it happen. That's the way I did it. Highly recommend this, because honestly, it didn't really take me that long. All right, so here, got my lines zip tied to the existing cabling. Get a little vampire clip installed. Now let's see if this guy's gonna reach to the front of the car. It's gonna be close. All right, good news. It will reach, and it'll reach easily. Now, depending on your car stereo, you will have something similar to this. Okay, now on mine, I have to actually install this in the back, but you should have something along these lines for the camera. So again, this is gonna go to the back of the car stereo. We're just gonna go ahead and make that connection. And I think that's it. Now, something that confuses me are these red power wires that are off the leads of these AV wires. There's one on each end. I'm not exactly sure what this does, if it does anything. It doesn't make sense to me why it would do anything, so I'm not that worried about it, but we may not get a result because this isn't plugged into something. So I may have to do a little bit more research, but for now, I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in the back of our stereo, and we're gonna see if our camera actually works. All right, guys, it's taken me a minute. I had to go back and forth to the internet for some support because When I hooked all this up, it didn't work, right? Shocker. But I figured it out. Man, the directions are so bad. They are horrible with the camera that I purchased, and they are horrible with the camera that came with the head unit. They're just terrible, man. They just don't describe what you have to do in great detail. But, like I said, I went on Amazon. I looked up the head unit that I got. I did a little search on backup camera, and the manufacturer actually provided semi-decent step-by-step directions on what you have to do. So the piece that I was missing was the exact piece that I thought I didn't have to hook up, right? It's that positive, the red wire on the camera side and the red wire on the driver's side. So in the back, I had to make some adjustments here, and you guys missed it, but I did something you guys never see me do, and that is solder. I hid it all underneath that little heat shrink there, but yeah, I had to actually wire in the little lead from the AV line, okay, a little red power wire, into the line that goes to the backup camera. So in order to do that, I had to have 3 lines altogether. So that's what I decided to do, is wind it all together and then put some solder on it and put the heat shrink on. So that solved our problem back here in the rear. Now let's go check up by the radio. Look at this disaster. Okay, so this wire right here, this little purple guy, this is actually camera in, I think it's labeled. I forget exactly what's labeled. The label fell off, but it's labeled backup camera in some fashion. So that needed to be soldered to the power wire that comes in with the AV wire. Where's the AV wire? Where are you at? Right here. Okay, so there you go. So now you can see the connection. Okay, so this is the backup camera, and then this is the wire that we ran, and this is the little power lead coming off of that wire going into the old purple guy here. So now that we got this all connected, let me show you how the backup camera works. All right, so I got this put back together. Hey, how rad is that, huh? Pretty sweet. And then out of gear, right back. Reverse, out of gear, right back. So how cool is that, dude? It all works. It all works. It's like, smash my door. Oh man, so happy with that. Whew. I've been not wanting to do this for a long time, so I'm glad it actually works, and it's really responsive. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Is this thing totally awesome? Was it worth all the hard work? I still got a lot of hard work left to put this all back together again. Yeah, man, let me know down in the comments what you think of the old backup camera. I think it turned out pretty sick, man. This car is so dirty. I cannot believe how dirty it is. It looks like I went off-road. Like, I don't know, I can't understand why it's just so filthy. But whatever, that's a story for another day. Let me get this thing put back together again, and then we'll take it out in the streets, and we can really see how cool it looks using it at night and using it during the day. Can you guys see that? Is that rad or what? Takes some getting used to. I'm not used to looking at little cameras to back up, and I'm not sure I'll use it all the time. It goes right off there once I go forward. But it is a nice thing to have, and heck, $40, can't beat it. All right, guys, it is the following day. I wanted to give you a daytime shot of what this thing looks like, and not in the garage, but actually out in the real world. Check that out. What do you guys think? Comment below. Really, really impressed with this. These lines you can actually remove. If you don't like the lines, you just cut a little wire over by the camera and you get rid of those lines. I personally kind of like the lines, so I'm keeping those. But yeah, really, really happy with this. 40 bucks, dude, 40 bucks. So anyway, yeah, 40 bucks for the camera. The head unit was $120. Links down in the description box if you're interested in picking up the head unit or interested in picking up the camera. Man, I couldn't be more happy with the way this turned out. It was a ton of work, man. It was a ton of work. Not as much as installing a sub and an amp, but a lot of work nonetheless. But anyway, guys, that's going to kind of wrap it up for the audio part of the XB build. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know what you want to see next. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next Tuesday. Later.